As the world demands more power, the need for sustainable energy sources has never been greater. With urbanization, digitalization, and the rise of AI, how can we harness renewable resources like solar, hydrogen, and biomass to meet this growing need?
As of 2023, Malaysia has renewable energy share 25%. Last year, we managed to increase up to 31% of renewable energy share. National Energy Transition Roadmap, where we put a very ambitious target to have more than 40% of renewable energy share by 2040 and 70% by 2050.
Join us on Decimal Point as we discover what would ignite the global sparks in the future of energy trade. Do you know that just 4 countries, China, Japan, Germany and Malaysia, accounted for 70% of global exports in solar modules in year 2021? Similarly, China, Denmark, Spain and Germany contributed 80% of the wind-powered generators. This highlights that only a handful of nations dominate the manufacturing of renewable energy technologies. But what about the actual generation of power from renewable sources? Is Malaysia not just manufacturing their technologies, but also exporting renewable energy itself? Be a part of our conversation here on Decimal Point. We're truly honored to have you, Professor, today, as you are highly in demand as one of the few experts in Malaysia who can actually advise on Malaysia's lead in green energy or renewable energy. So, Professor, can you actually share with us your latest work in the field and where Malaysia stands now on renewable energy?
I'm a trained chemical engineer, so energy and process has been my focus for the last 20 years. At the moment, I'm leading an institute known as Institute of Sustainable and Renewable Energy in University Malaysia Sarawak. So part of the things that we are doing are looking at the green energy transitioning. So we have done a lot of work inside campus as well as outside campus. And in UNIMAS itself, we have formulated what we call a low-carbon campus roadmap 2030, where one of the focus area or the pillars in the roadmap itself is talking about renewable energy. So we have an ambitious plan of increasing our renewable energy share in our campus up to 30% by 2030 from our baseline in 2022. Apart from that, we are also, last year, we implemented this pilot project for our campus mobility, trying to install hydrogen in our bus that the students are using. And after a year, we managed to reduce the carbon emission up to 30% by using the so-called hydrogen bus in our campus. From the community point of view, outside campus, we have been working on one project in Kampong Asum, which is about 1.5 hours from Kuching. It's actually considered as a rural area where we develop a green hydrogen system integrated with solar and hydropower. And the main purpose of this project is actually to study and explore how the green energy can benefit the people in the rural areas, especially at elevating their socio-economic, increase the income generation, as well as helping them to brand themselves as what we call a low-carbon village. So this is just a few projects that we have been doing. Of course, indirect to this renewable energy and green energy transitioning, we are also looking at the low carbon effort, and as we speak, we are actually trying to educate as well as consult a few local authorities and councils in Sarawak especially to implement the low carbon initiative. As of 2023, Malaysia has our renewable energy share or installed capacity of 25% from the energy use. It's not too bad, and last year we managed to increase quite significantly to up to 31% of renewable energy share. So when it comes to the policy implementation master plan or roadmap, we have two important roadmap dealing with energy transition. The first one is National Energy Transition Roadmap, where we put a very ambitious target to have more than 40% of renewable energy share by 2040 and 70% by 2050. So this is something that if you look at the increment within the next perhaps 20 years, we are talking about nearly more than doubling the renewable energy share that we have. And of course, this is really something that everybody is looking forward to, and in supporting the Paris Agreement as part of it, and also net zero initiative. So the second important roadmap that touch on the green energy transitioning is on hydrogen economy and technology roadmap. It's a very important document looking at specifically the development and the implementation of a hydrogen economy, where as we all aware that hydrogen now surpassing the solar when it comes to the attractiveness in terms of the decarbonization as well as the green energy transition.
Prof, earlier you intrigued me with your statement. You said that hydrogen is more attractive than solar. I mean, we all know that here in Malaysia, we have abundance in solar, and it's a very promising energy source here in Malaysia. So possibly can you tell me why actually hydrogen is more attractive?
Right. Yes, solar is more popular, and for people, it's abundance because we have sunlight 24/7, 365 days in a year. But there is some technical challenge with solar when it comes to the source of energy itself. It's very limited to when the sun comes up as compared to the hydrogen, and it means that to have a continuous supply of energy, hydrogen is more attractive in that sense. And for hydrogen, it can be transported from one to another, and the storage of hydrogen, even though it's relatively expensive than the solar, is more flexible in a way that we can transport it from one place to another. And also, when you look at the environmental perspective, green hydrogen is the cleanest form of energy as of now, well, apart from the nuclear, of course. So this makes it more promising and in demand, especially for those who is going very into their net zero effort as compared to the solar energy.
With that said, Prof, there is a large-scale solar program being implemented currently, commitment of the 2.46 gigawatt. So can you possibly elaborate more on that and the various projects that we should know more about?
Right. The LSS, or the Large Scale Solar Project, is a government-led initiative. I think it's actually started back in 2017, where the industries are encouraged to come out with their solar PV farm from 1 megawatt to 30 megawatt, and they can actually connect to the grid and sell it. It's one of the initiatives taken by our government to achieve two things. The first one is actually to increase, of course, our renewable energy capacity, because more people, attracting more business to build the solar farm and produce the solar energy. The second objective of having this large-scale solar is actually to reduce the cost, what we call the LCOE, which is the levelized cost of energy, because one of the important factors to make the renewable energy transitioning happen very fast is to have the cost at a very attractive price. So people are going as low as 17 to 15 cents per kilowatt hour under this initiative. So it's a very good initiative done by our government, and it has many phases. As of now, we are at the final stage of the LSS itself, and we are looking at to increase the number of the solar farm in Malaysia as a whole. Okay, we have, I would like to mention two interesting solar projects at the moment. One, of course, in Sarawak. It has been commissioned last year. It's a floating solar panel project in Batang Ai, where they are using the vast area of the Batang Ai hydro dam to build the floating solar project, and has been commissioned last year and producing about 50 megawatt of power. And because of the success of this project, now the Sarawak government is trying to have a similar floating solar in Murum and Bakum, which I think will bring about 1,100 megawatts of power in that area. There's another interesting project also in Peninsular Malaysia, which is under this Pengerang Industrial Park with 450 megawatts, which will be developed very soon, and it is one of the biggest solar farm projects in Southeast Asia if it is being implemented. By understanding this, the potential that we have, we set one target, which is the green economy, bring the green energy transitioning in it. As much as possible, we are not going to let go of the plan and stick to it, no matter how difficult it will be.
The energy sector contributes 28% of Malaysia's GDP, and that would be almost 500 billion ringgit, and it employs 25% of total workforce in Malaysia.
Now, Prof, can you tell us more on Malaysia's plan to export renewable energy in terms of balancing its domestic consumption needs with its export goals?
It's very interesting when we look back at the history of this, when people start to focus very on the green energy or renewable energy. The main factor is because of the energy security 10 or 20 years ago. As the climate change becomes another important topic, the motivation of doing it is slightly different. And now the demand for the green energy or renewable energy has increased a lot. And some countries take this as an opportunity to actually venture into the energy export. So if you look from Malaysia's point of view, back in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, we are actually banned the export of the renewable energy. But 2 years later, in 2023, it has been lifted because of the global trends and the economic opportunities that our country has seen from this scenario. And it's actually very aligned to our energy sector is Malaysia, as it provides one of the biggest percentage of the GDP, I think about 400 billion ringgit Malaysia. So this is something that we have to tap on, no doubt about it, but we have to also look at our energy security from the local perspective as well in planning the renewable energy export. Of course, if you talk about Sarawak, it's something that has been talk of the town. as green economy is what Premier has mentioned as one of the future direction for Sarawak because of many reasons. One of it is Sarawak already have its 70% share of renewable energy as compared to the Malaysia as a whole. These are the kind of scenario and factors that we have to key in. We want to consider the renewable energy export as one of the focus of our country. Having said that, it also comes with different requirements for the enabler, the things that we have to do to make it happen, apart from having a lot of policies or roadmap. One of the important things is looking at our capacity building, the workforce. Because 25% of the workforce in Malaysia is actually in the energy sectors. Therefore, if we move from the conventional energy, oil and gas, for example, into renewable energy, especially hydrogen, it's something that requires a lot of upskilling, reskilling, and a lot of new technologies that, we have to put a lot of investment in terms of our talent and workforce in Malaysia.
So, Prof, what can we derive as a nation, especially from successful policies such as the German fit-in tariff since the 2000s, as well as the Australia Climate Change Act? So can you tell us a little bit on what are lessons that we can actually learn from them?
Okay, very interesting. I would like to share my story. Back in 2022, I went to Copenhagen during summer, and one of my professors mentioned to me, Shanti, do you know that now we are 100% powered by our wind energy? It's very interesting that, people realize what is happening. They appreciate the source of the energy that they are using. Of course, they cannot do this during winter, but during summer, it was, there's no need for them to get their grid connected to their other conventional energy. One of the things that I realized back then, is that they are all in this together. People realize that renewable energy transitioning or green energy transitioning is not just government responsibility, it's also the people. So one of the things that we are trying to observe from how the success of other international or global countries is that people understand what government tried to achieve and they fully support it. They appreciate the advantage and they can see the benefit of going through this green energy transitioning. So back to the policy and whatnot, we've seen a country like Germany and Australia, like you mentioned, they're really going all out for the policy and the regulations that support the policy. One of the challenges in Malaysia is that we love to do a lot of, good things. But sometimes we fail to stick on the plan and go with the plan until we really achieve it. If we talk from Sarawak point of view, we realize that our strength is actually on our natural resources, something that God granted us. So by understanding this, understanding the potential that we have, we set one target, which is the green economy transitioning, that of course bring the green energy transitioning in it. And, we as much as possible, we are not going to, to let go of that plan and stick to it, no matter how difficult it will be. So this is something that regardless of the policy, regardless of the master plan that these people have, be it in Europe or Australia, one thing in common that they have is that once they have decided, they will stick to the plan until the end. So I think that's what truly matters. If you put aside the technological part, because that will come after you being very resilient and very committed on what you want to achieve at the end of the day.
Zooming into Sarawak, as we know, Sarawak leads the development of a green energy ecosystem and the generation of hydropower in Malaysia. Sarawak is not only positioning itself as a hydrogen hub, but also as a hub for green energy investments.
Our target by 2030, we are able to produce 10 gigawatt. Though our needs, the domestic need is very much less than that. So in other words, your surplus to be shared with our partners. And then by 2035, we hope to increase up to 15 gigawatt. And that will enable us to produce the right power mix and to be shared with our neighbors.
Prof, earlier you mentioned about Premier's vision, especially becoming a leading renewable energy exporter, specifically in hydrogen by the year 2027. So can you tell me what are the key drivers behind Sarawak's ambition?
For the past few years, our Premier has been everywhere. He can be and bring and this idea about the green energy transitioning, about Sarawak ambition, trying to be the leader in the green energy or one of the key player in the green energy. So this has set a very good footing and also craft a good narration for Sarawak to be on the right path towards leading this green energy sectors. For the last few years, we have seen a lot of events, important events, conferences on green hydrogen and green energy has been, set in Sarawak itself. To introduce our investors, to get our people to understand the direction of Sarawak when it comes to the green economy or green policy. So the ecosystem that has been formulated start from the governance itself. I think the Ministry of Energy and Environmental Sustainability has been one of the key players, and it's actually a new ministry that has been established in less than 2 years. And this ministry, they have been very busy in developing this new agenda. Of course, with the limited resources that we have at the moment, but I think they are doing great in the sense that we have a lot of investors coming in from Japan, South Korea especially, and have seen the infrastructure, the ecosystems that we have, and I think they're quite confident with what the direction that has been set by our Premier. Okay, one more key strategy that is worth mentioning is that Sarawak has a plan to develop another grid, which is dedicated for the green energy or renewable energy. So this grid is one of the game changer in order for us to make the green energy capacity more attractive because as you know, Sarawak is quite big geographically. So by having this grid, it will enable the participation from not just big industry, but also even community to come up with, for example, the solar farming and contribute to the green grid itself. And this will enable the initiative or the goal to achieve Sarawak as one of the leading renewable energy exporter.
The plans are nothing short of colossal. Critics are questioning whether these ambitious technologies can even be brought to life, let alone successfully implemented and kept running.
Now, Prof, earlier you mentioned that Malaysia in 2023 lifted the ban on exporting renewable energy, and now we are actually having a plan with Singapore via the undersea power cable by 2032. So can you tell us a little bit more on the preparation or discussions surrounding this?
Right. Actually, this plan has been talk of the town since 5 years ago, where Singapore is moving towards its own green transitioning and is looking for green energy for that matter. And Sarawak is being the closest one, and with abundance potential of green and renewable energy has been their, of course, number one choice for the green energy source. So our Premier has taken this opportunity to make it happen, and a lot of feasibility study and technical study has been implemented for the last 2-3 years. It's a very challenging project because of the infrastructure that has to be built, which does not involve only Sarawak, but also Malaysia and Singapore as well. And the recent visit of Premier to Singapore has brought a lot of positive assurance that this thing is going to happen. And technically speaking, about 720 meter long, if I'm not mistaken, the undersea cable itself will be in operation by 2031. So that's really going to push the efforts and making things really happen of green energy exporting to Singapore. When we talk about South Korea and Japan, on the other hand, of course, they are one of the clients or the potential buyer for green energy in Sarawak. And from their side, it is very much about hydrogen transportation. And earlier this year, Premier has mentioned in his Amanat 2025 about a lot of efforts are going on to explore the different ways of transporting the hydrogen that has been manufactured in Sarawak and exporting it to especially Japan and also South Korea.
As one of the largest oil and gas producers in Southeast Asia, Malaysia's fossil fuel reserves aren't running out just yet, but they are finite. This makes the conversation around renewable energy more critical than ever. Not only it is vital for environmental sustainability, but to ensure energy security, not just in Malaysia, but globally. See you next time on Decimal Point.